everyone, and welcome to this edition of Comic Conversation. And by request of some of our students here at Steele High School, we are going to focus today's program on snow and cold days. And we are fortunate to have two of our students here at Steele High School with us today. We have McGuire and Kendra. First of all, thank you so much for joining us on today's program.
Thank you for having us.
I think what we're going to do with this show is kind of turn the tables a little bit and let you ask me some questions as it relates to snow days and cold days and how that process works.
Well, I had a couple questions for you. So I was going to ask you, how do you go about making snow days or a cold day decisions?
Well, thank you for that question. Obviously, it's a big decision, and our first and foremost concern is the safety of our students. But at the same time, education's a big deal, and we know how much our students enjoy being in school and learning and being with their friends and all those things, right?
Yes, we love it.
But seriously, it is a big decision, and there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of variables that we take into account. Obviously, we look at snow accumulation and ice accumulation. We look at temperatures, wind chills, conditions of roads, conditions of our parking lots and sidewalks, for example. Our buildings and grounds supervisor does a great job, and oftentimes we're talking either the evening before or early in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, about decision that we may need to make for that day. And obviously, we look at weather forecasts. And I also have some superintendents that I talk with throughout the county that get their perspective on things. And so a lot of factors that go into it. But ultimately, student safety is always our first and foremost concern.
Yes. And following that, what would be the toughest part about making the decision?
The toughest part is probably just the unpredictability of what's going to happen with the weather. And I actually have 3 or 4 different websites that I refer to in terms of weather forecasts, and it's amazing that in many ways they're very similar, but in some ways they're different. And, just that whole, and we understand predicting weather is not an exact science. And, sometimes they call for 2 inches of snow and we get 5 inches of snow. Or sometimes they say we're going to get 8 inches of snow and we get 3 inches of snow. I mean, and so those are tough things. And so I would say just trying to work through that unknown and the unpredictability of what's going to happen, especially when you consider that we have to make our decision by 5:30 in the morning at the latest because our buses start rolling about 6 o'clock. And so what's happening with the weather at 5:30 is oftentimes different than what's happening at 7, 7:30, 8, 8:39 when our students are arriving at school. And sometimes it can be perfectly fine at 5:30 and things deteriorate and get worse. Sometimes things get better. So it's just that unknown, and in trying to make the best decision that we can at 5:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. Or if we're able to, we try to make that decision the night before because we know it's easier for families as far as childcare arrangements and those types of things, which is what we're able to do here most recently.
Yes.
We were also wondering how many students correspond with you on Twitter regarding your snow days, and what do you think about the tweets?
Well, we have a lot of students that correspond with me, and I think that's a wonderful thing. It's obviously it's different now with social media. I can remember when I was in school a long time ago, back in the 70s and 80s. I can remember, we had to listen to the radio, and we were tuned into WEOL, waiting for our name or our school to be called for closings, and also looking at the news. And the way they used to do it with the Cleveland news stations is you would just scroll through all the counties in Northeast Ohio. So we had to wait until Lorraine County popped up on the screen, and again, you were waiting to see if your school was there. So obviously a lot different now with social media, but I enjoy the interaction, and I enjoy hearing from our students, and I tweeted the other day, my wife and I actually find it quite humorous. The tweets are very creative.
Yes, very.
95% of them are appropriate. But there are some that kind of stand out. I don't know if you wanted me to share some of
Yes,
those.
of
Or
course.
yeah, it's just kind of funny that we've had students offer to shovel our driveway. We've had students offer to rake leaves for us. We've had students that have sent pictures of the weather forecast,
Yes.
pictures of sidewalks covered with snow, roads with snow covered and icy conditions. And one of my favorites, I wrote this one down. I had one just the other day. It said, "Mr. Sayers, can you be cool just once, please?" And so I thought that was good. But yeah, it's always nice to hear from our students, and like I said, 95% of them are in good taste and very appropriate, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yes.
Now let me ask you this. I have a question for you, if that's okay.
Yes.
Have either of you ever tweeted to me about a snow day?
Go ahead.
Well, I was the first one to tweet. Mr. Tellier got me to tweet out the roads look pretty icy, and then he had me tweet it, and he would like it. So
Mr. Tellier. Oh, okay. That's good to know.
I personally have just read all the tweets and liked a lot of them in hopes for a snow day or a cold day.
Well, thank you. I just
Yes.
I appreciate those, and like I said, we always enjoy that interaction.
And there are some not so nice tweets. So what do you think about the mean tweets that you do see?
Oh, wow. Well, let's see. What's the best way to answer that? Serving in a position like this, it's a position that I very much enjoy, but it's certainly not a popularity contest, and we have almost 4,000 students in our district, and we have probably 425 staff, and probably somewhere 23,000 residents in the Amherst School District. And so obviously we're not always going to agree on everything, and that's okay. People should have the ability to express their opinions and perspectives and thoughts on things, and that's a good thing. And so what's happened with social media and electronic communication is obviously it's a tool, and it can be used for good. But unfortunately, sometimes what happens is people will say things electronically or on social media that they would never say, face to face, talking like we're talking here today. So I think it's important, and I would encourage all of our students that, by all means, share your thoughts and ideas and perspectives. But I think it's always important that we do that in a polite and courteous and respectful way. And I said 95% of them are appropriate, some maybe not so much, but that's just one of those things that I think it's important for all of us to remember when we're corresponding electronically to try to do things professionally and respectfully and communicate in good taste. So,
Yes.
yep,
how's that sound?
that
Perfect.
sounds pretty good to me.
Thank you for all of the snow days and cold days that you have given us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And you just never know here in Ohio what the weather's going to
Yes.
bring.
Very unpredictable.
Never know. In fact, I think it was last year, we actually had snow in April. I don't think we had a snow day.
No.
But I remember having snow in April last year. So you
Yes.
just never know here in Ohio. I know we've had one so far, but who knows what the
Yes.
future will be. Thank you so much. I
Yes,
enjoyed our
thank you for
conversation
having
this
us. Thank you.
morning, and perhaps we can have a conversation again someday.
Yes.
Sounds
Thank
good
you.
to me.
Yeah, and I'm going to remember to follow up with Mr. Tellier about
I don't know about that.
No, we have a lot of fun. Mr. Tellier's a great guy, and we have a lot of fun talking about these kinds of things. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks most of all to you, our viewing audience, for your support of our Amherst schools. And at any time, if you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to give us a call at the Amherst Board Office. That number is 440-988-4406. Thank you so much, and go Comets.